I'll go first.
No, it should be me.
I was first, so I go first. Good day, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and welcome to Brecon Theatre. My fellow theatre company managers and I will relate to you stories of our theatrical lives. Now, these stories stretch from 1736 until 1900. My name is Sarah Baker, and I am an actress, an acrobat, a dancer, a wife, a mother, a theatre manager, and a businesswoman.
I am Sarah Macready, and as the Bristol Old Vic Theatre website proclaims, actress, wife, mother, businesswoman, friend, and ghost.
And last, but certainly not least, I'm Kate Robertson, actress and theatre company manager. All our writer could find about me was my thoughts on how I felt being an actress in late Victorian Britain.
But you must understand, dear people, we are all dead. And in life, well, we never knew each other.
But we did share common traits: intelligence, drive, ambition. We were all formidable women with creative powers and were incredible actresses.
We have met here today.
When shall we three meet again? In thunder, lightning, or in rain?
When the hurly-burly's done, when the battle's lost and won.
That will be ere the set of sun.
Where's the place?
Upon the heath.
To meet with the good people of Brecon on the site of their first permanent theatre.
You never lose it, folks. I was born in 1736 into an old theatrical family, and we ran traditional fairs and theatres throughout Kent and the south of England.
I was born in 1790 and at an early age joined William Macready's touring company.
I'm not sure when or where I was born, but I did manage a theatre company that performed on this site in Brecon Theatre in October and November 1866.
Yes, well, well done, dear. As I said, I was born into an old theatrical family, and my mother, Anne Wakeling, was an excellent role model. I was immersed into the travel, the trade, and the talent of the theatre, and I ran my mother's Sadler's Wells company from 1772 until 1777. I performed. I managed the money. I organised the transport, the venue, the theatre licences. I hired and I fired the talent, including Edmund Kean and Joseph Grimaldi, as well as many others of great renown who would tread my boards.
I bet they did. Yes. I toured all over England and Wales with William Macready's touring company, playing a variety of roles.
You had rubbish reviews before 1815.
At first, maybe, I learnt my craft. By 1819, my lady Sarah Macbeth was considered superior to that of the great Sarah Siddons herself. Yes. The Cambrian newspaper of Wales declared that I was an acquisition to any stage.
In my day, there were very few permanent purpose-built theatres, and so in 1789 I had the finances and the wherewithal to build my own very first purpose-built theatre. You know, I went on to build 10 around the south of England, at Hastings, Tunbridge Wells, Rochester, and Canterbury, to name just a few.
I married William Macready in 1823, and he leased the purpose-built theatre at Bristol, and there I learnt the business of theatre management.
Before theatres, travelling companies had to make do with a room in an inn or a rich man's house or a platform on the street. Theatre folk sheltered in caravans or makeshift tents or lodged in inns.
Well, next to my 10 purpose-built theatres, I'd also built accommodation safe and secure for the theatre folk. It was a civilised living.
Indeed. Oh, in the 1810s and 1820s, travelling alone and viewed as an actress, well, it was a hazardous business for a woman.
Well, in the 1870s, 80s and 90s, it was no different. There was always masculine resistance to my management of and being an actress in my theatre company. I had to exude respectability and feminine passivity in order to be accepted into so-called decent circles of society where I could make money.
Well, even I had to defend my honour. They'd think that because you winked and wiggled for them on the boards, that you'd wink and wiggle for them in the nearest hay barn.
Me too. Yeah, wandering hands and lascivious words. Because we played scandalous characters on stage, they assumed that we were such in real life.
Oh, it grew worse in my time. In the late Victorian era, women were thought to be morally weak. All it took was one word or someone to see one of my people doing something they would think was common, disrespectful or indecent, and we were run out of town. I had to always appear to be a lady, above reproach, who ran a decent, God-fearing theatre company, where decent and respectable ladies could bring their innocent and refined daughters. If the fine ladies didn't come, we didn't make money. If the fine ladies didn't let their men come, we didn't make money. And if nobody came, we didn't get booked again. Our livelihoods were gone and we were all on the streets.
But being in the theatre was like balancing on a tightrope in a gusty breeze. Doubly hard for women.
Yes, and the cunning thievery of our own audiences too, never wanting to pay for a night of honest entertainment.
Well, how do you secure an inn courtyard with 2 or 3 balconies and double gates at either end of the inn for coach and horses, with access to drinking parlours, stables, outhouses and all sorts of buildings? Even in a private house, you couldn't secure all the doors, windows, cellars and hidden passageways.
For every decent soul who would pay for a night of honest entertainment, there would be a score or more who would sneak and creep to peek for free to view our revels.
Every theatre company is a business, and like any other, has to make money to survive. Every evening, 3 to 4 hours of entertainment was delivered. The company pays to rent the performance space. It pays to light it with candles and candelabra. We pay for scenery, machinery and the skills that make it. We pay a licence fee to perform in the local area. We pay for costumes, handbills for advertising, our own food, clothes and shelter. Our horses, mules and other animals have to be fed and stabled. Some of those beasts, I'll have you know, are stars of the boards in their own right. Oh, and we have to pay the actors too.
Overheads and profit, always a fine line between the two in the entertainment business.
Frustration and vexation. Sometimes our takings would barely cover the cost of our earnest entertainment endeavours to please and pleasure an ungrateful and scurrilous audience.
No. Steady, dear. We have an honest and appreciative audience before us tonight.
We're not asking them to pay.
Oh, fair point. Ungrateful.
And scurrilous.
You must forgive me, Mrs. Sarah
Macready.
Macready and Mrs. Jane
Kate Robertson.
Kate Robertson. For I now hark back to my glory days of building purpose-built theatres and accommodation for theatre folk between 1789 and 1816. Like other theatre managers, I was very much aware that our skills, our talent and our hard work were not being paid for by our audiences. And so, when building my theatres, integral to my plans was the box office. The box office.
The money.
Yes, people of the future. In my purpose-built theatres, not only did I create an audience space that was divided into tiered spaces with price ranges for the poor, the not-so-poor, and the rich, but I also created the box office. Now, this was a literal wooden box which contained a cash box, locked and bolted, of course, and space for a coin collector. I also secured the building so that the only entrance to the theatre was via the box office.
Bravo, my dear, bravo!
Encore!
You know, I could collect copyright payments for that now.
No more easy accessible doors and windows and cellars and trapdoors from cellars. We won't talk about that again.
No.
No vaunting vantage points where hobbledehoys could gather on walls to view our entertainment for free.
Come, fellow theatre managers, 1736 to 1900. Have we anything else to entertain our audience with?
Yes. When my William Macready died,
Oh, so sad.
he bequeathed me the lease of the Bristol Old Vic Theatre. I had been managing the place for many years, along with simultaneously managing the Cardiff and Bath theatres. However, the Bristol Old Vic management refused to grant me the lease because I was a woman.
Well, you can't help being a woman, but it upsets and discombobulates some men. I can't imagine that'll be a problem in the future.
No, we have always been criticised for centuries. Nothing that we do is right. We are criticised for our costume, our motherhood, our language, our career choices. Oh, nothing that we ever do is correct.
Life is but a walking shadow, a poor player who struts and frets her hour upon the stage and then is heard no more.
We are all ghosts, woo! But we're being heard now.
Talking of ghosts, aren't you a famous ghost, Mrs. Macready, that haunts the Bristol Old Vic Theatre?
So they say. But it isn't me. I mean, why would I bother to haunt the dingy pits and passageways of a theatre when there is a beautiful stage lit by the light of 1,000 suns?
Right. You know, they built a new theatre here in Brecon in 1997. We could go and haunt it.
Oh, yes.
It's got central heating.
I love central heating. Running water, hot and cold. Not keen on showers. I shall traverse the main stage with baleful face.
Why baleful, dear? Never mind, as long as you're behind me.
And you two will be behind me. I don't like showers either. I prefer a bath with Asp's milk.
What central heating?